Namaskar, everyone, and welcome to Sunday. What is on my mind is to speak on the mind. The mind by itself, it's a tool, antakarana. But there is a more advanced tool to work the mind. It's called the ego, ahankara. Mind is called manas. It has the ability to create a thought and an image, a vision. And it works with all the senses. It gathers information from all the senses, and it allows us to act wisely. There are three Shaktis that we have that's defined in the yoga science. The Shakti of knowledge, that we have the ability to gather information from the senses and process that information through the buddhi, the reasoning power. Gyan, Shakti. Shakti means power. Gyan means knowledge. So we gather knowledge from this sensory experience, earthly experience of being in the world. So we have that power to gather knowledge. But we gather wonderful knowledge, and we also gather knowledge that can ruin us. It's a double-edged sword because we are in a world of duality. Rather, a play of duality. And we have the power to act. It's called Kriya Shakti. I can use my limbs, I can use my mind to drive the action. I can create a desire, I can create an intention with the power and act in implementing that. That's Kriya Shakti. That allows me to act, to do. And this one is really beautiful, powerful, that I have the power of will. I can will things to happen. The ego, of course, I'm using the I, the ego, the self-consciousness, ahankara. But I can will things to happen. I can gather knowledge. I can process knowledge, information. And I can act from it. See the powers we have? Soul powers in the human experience. So we are not bereft of power. We have awesome power. And that comes from an infinite source if we can only realize that. So we are creating from an infinite source continuously. But the great Buddha said that we are a product of all that we have thought of. So through the mind, we are thinking, we are envisioning, we are creating, and what we are now is a product of all that we have thought of, he said. And in the yogic science, we say that the mind is like a wish-fulfilling tree, kalpa vriksha. Kalpa vriksha, wish-fulfilling tree. And in the Bible, we have this saying in the Psalms, as a person thinketh in their heart, so is that person. But of course, it used the male gender, right? So I stayed away from the male gender. As a person thinketh in their heart, so is that person. How important is your thought? Super important. And there's a story of this kalpa vriksha. I must tell you the story. This person really believed in this wish-fulfilling tree and wanted to find this tree. So they got information as to where this tree was in the forest and really went after this tree. Through all the challenges, finally the person found the tree. So he sat under the tree so happy, but so tired. So all he could wish for is a place to rest. So suddenly a nice little bed appeared. As he wished for, so he got it. He's under the wish-fulfilling tree. Now, he was quite hungry, so he wished for food. So food appeared. But he didn't want to have the effort to put his food together. So he wished for somebody to serve him, a beautiful person to serve him. So this beautiful person appeared and served him. His wishes was being fulfilled. So after eating, you know what happened? He ate so much that he lay down to sleep, to rest, repose. And then in this in-between sleep, when we can envision very easily, he heard a tiger growling in the forest. And guess what? Where his thought went? To the tiger, of course. He was mortally afraid of these creatures. The more he heard the tiger, and the tiger's voice was seemingly coming closer to him. So he began to think in his mind, and very vividly, that this tiger is coming straight to him. And he got so scared that he thought, oh my God, this tiger will eat me. Guess what happened? The tiger appeared just as he thought. And the tiger devoured him. That's the end of the story. So what we materialize is not only the good thoughts, but the fearful thoughts as well. We materialize the fearful thoughts as well. So if we don't have mind control, if we become scared about any and everything, what will happen to us? If we have no mind control and cannot think the good thoughts that we're going to get better, that we are strong, if we don't think those thoughts, what will happen if we become fearful about things, everything we are fearful and scared about? When we get a pain anywhere, oh my God, do I have cancer? How do we make our thoughts strong and powerful, that they don't go into the tamas, into the darkness, but they stay in the sattva, in the light, in hope and peace and goodness and strength and vitality? How can we keep our thoughts on that road? Because indeed the mind is a kalpa vriksha. It's a wish-fulfilling tree. Like the Bible said, as we think in our hearts, so we become. Do you realize that everything you think about is constantly attracting things from your universe? Your universe is responding to you. Notice that? And if you have the merit, you see it happening very quickly. The universe is constantly. And there's a beautiful saying, ask and it shall be given, knock and it shall be open to you. Biblical again. Do you realize that everything you wish for is appearing in your state, and if it doesn't appear and you strive harder for it, it's going to come at some point. And all the things you fear are also materializing. So do you see why this meditation is so important? Do you see why the field of a guru is so important? Because when we are fearful, that is the field that will help us to become strong. Do you see why we need very positive souls in our world, very evolved souls, who can help people during these times to come into a more positive space and to stay there, to see that they have the power, they have the shaktis, and take charge of it. Take charge of your thoughts, take charge of your emotions, take charge of your energy field. Take charge. Don't let your mind be at random. You know what the saying is, right? An idle mind is a devil's workshop. Are you aware of when your mind is idle and how the thoughts stray? Are you aware of that? And yoga gives us the ideal tool for keeping the mind strong. Mantra. Man means the mind, manas, mind. Tra means to protect, to liberate, to save. Mantra. But sometimes you feel that the mantra is so laborious, so difficult to keep in the mind all the time. No. Begin to learn to keep it in the mind. When you sit for the meditation, the mind is here, there, and everywhere, senses all over the place. Bring in the mantra in the mind. Bring the mantra in the mind. And if you can associate it with the breath, it becomes easier because you're associating it with prana and apana, with life force. It gets deeper. And there is the mantra for the breath if you tried. Soham. When the Guru gives you the mantra, Soham, if you repeat it, you'll begin to get closer to the prana apana. So means universe. Hum means I. So you're breathing out the I, letting go of the ego, and you're breathing into universal consciousness. That's what so means. And in the yogic teachings, it says before we get initiated into Soham, that we are doing Hamsa. We think that we are the body, so Ham dominates. So we have Hamsa consciousness. Universe is outside, we dominate. That's Hamsa. But when the Guru initiates you, he started saying to change this. Let's change this. Breathe into the divine and breathe out the I. Soham. Soham. So the yogic science says that all creatures are breathing Hamsa, 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 Hamsa. Breathing the Hamsa. But when the disciple comes to the Guru changes it to Soham, changes the awareness, spiritualizes the awareness. You may think this is some nonsense mantra just to keep the mind busy. No, no, no. Soham is so deep, so deep, you cannot imagine. And when initiated by the Guru in Soham, repeat Soham, magic happens in the inner space. And then the mantra goes through stages. First, you begin to say it and then you lose it. You say it for a few seconds or minutes and then it disappears. But if you stay with it, come back to it again and again, after a while, it stays. It stays. We are building a habit. We are reprogramming the neural system. We are building a habit. Soham, Soham, Soham. And then you begin to enjoy saying this thing. The heart gets involved. It gets to the heart level. And then you enjoy saying this so much that whenever the mind becomes idle, the mantra just comes in. The mantra just comes in. And you feel gladdened that your own subconscious being can remind you. And then the other part of the mantra is when the mantra begins to express its power. That you begin to feel that, yes, you are divine. You begin to feel it in your being. That's when you're realizing the mantra. Even if you don't repeat it, you're feeling the power of Soham. You become the mantra. And when you repeat it from that state of awareness, that's called a japa. When the japa is happening, but you're not repeating it. A japa. A japa means the opposite of japa. Japa is a repetition. So then a japa, you reach the stage of a japa, japa. You don't need to repeat it to be in the consciousness of the mantra. But if perchance you do, you energize the space, the field. You energize the field because you have come into that ajapa stage of realizing the mantra. How wonderful is that? That a mantra can protect you and save you, liberate you. Mantra. So we may think of this science of mantra as being petty. It isn't. It isn't. There absolutely isn't. It can liberate us. I wish that you could appreciate and understand that. There's not an instant when I forget who I am and forget and be not aware of the mind. I'm always aware of the mind because of where I'm placed inside. I'm always aware of the power of the thought. I'm always aware of the consequences of the thought. And it's my great joy to stay aligned, always, to constructive thinking. My whole life is about constructive thinking, creative thinking, thinking that can make a difference. So your mind has awesome power, awesome power. So take care of it, protect it, nourish it. Use it to help co-create a better world. And use the ego through the tool of the mind to liberate yourself from the Maya. The Bhagavad Gita says, lift yourself by yourself. For your same self can be your enemy, and your same self can be your friend. How is it an enemy? When we use the mind to create fear and become a victim. How does it become a friend? With the mantra thinking. With the control, the management of the mind. Are you going to remember this? Is it going to make a difference to your day? I hope that it does. I know it will. And I appreciate you meditating with me and making the effort to follow the teachings that I bring to you. Of course, the greatest gift you can give to me is becoming a mantra, becoming the guru, becoming one with the field. That's the greatest gift you could give to me as a teacher and a guide. So I thank you for your presence this morning. I thank you for being with me. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a blessed day. Namaskar.